But essentially, we're talking today about the Pay Index, which is a platform that will provide you with information that is really useful for you making your next steps around education and in your career and lots of different bits and pieces. The Pay Index is provided to you by the Liverpool City Region Careers Hub and Shaping Futures. The Careers Hub basically is there to provide you and your schools with support around making sure that you've got what you need to successfully progress into your career at the end of your education journey, whenever that is. And Shaping Futures is a collaborative partnership of different universities and further education colleges across the region. And again, we're here to support you with all of those next steps and the decisions that you've got to make. So the Pay Index basically helps us to do that. It will provide you with information on apprenticeships and degree options, covering lots of different bits of information, including where do students from the Liverpool City region go to study, the different apprenticeship opportunities that you've got, and typical earnings for each route. We know that you're interested in what that career actually looks like, what you'll earn, how much money you'll have. So that information is all on there, especially if you're torn between two routes. This is a little snippet of what the Pay Index looks like, but I will go through the different pages of the platform with you shortly. So you're able to choose areas, degrees, and not just see what a graduate experience looks like, but how that graduate experience progresses as you will move through your career. And equally for apprenticeships, you're able to see the areas that apprenticeships are available, the kind of where they are in relation to you, where you live, and the different levels of apprenticeships. Okay, so that might look like a level 2 apprenticeship, which is equivalent to GCSE, all the way through to a degree apprenticeship, which would be the equivalent of going to university. The Pay Index is basically, it pulls together lots of different information that's already out there, but might be difficult for you to consider yourself going and getting that information. So it does a lot of the hard work for you, puts all that information in one place for you to go back to. It's also available for your parents. So if you wanted to chat through them, or if they wanted to know a little bit more about the options that are available for you, they can see that as well. You might sign up during an assembly in school or anything like that, but it is your own account. So you can go back to it as many times as you need, whenever you would like, whether that's at school or at home. In case you're wondering what platforms it will work on everything. If you access it on a phone, it is just as useful. If you're on a laptop or a tablet, you can even use it through one of the internet browsers on your Xbox if you wanted to. And it does provide you with the option to compare options. So if you can't really decide which one you think is the best for you, you can see that and use that information to go away and kind of chat to someone a little bit more. You might want to chat to us at Shaping Futures or your careers lead in school, someone like that. It does also link out to two functions that you might find helpful. One is the live chat feature on the Shaping Futures website, so you can chat to all of the current students that we've got from our different university partners to find out what it's like to be a student. Or you can chat to all of our team as well. So you're able to get sort of live advice on your phone straight from us. And it will show you a database of different university events for students and schools that you might want to sign up for if that's something you're interested in. Okay. There are two different sections of My Future University and My Future Apprenticeship. There are videos on the website of how to use both, but I will go through them really quickly for you just at the end of this presentation. And then how you actually sign up. So it is a website. You don't need to download anything or anything like that. You basically just need to make an account, and these are the kind of information that it asks for. We do really encourage you guys to use a personal email address, so one that you have access to all the time. You might want to choose to do that rather than a school email, because you will retain access to the Pay Index all the way through, even after you leave school. So if you are using your personal email and you forget your password or anything like that, you'll be able to reset it much easier. So we do encourage you to do that if possible. You can visit this link, which I will pop in the chat at the end, and I'll also put this back up if you would rather scan the QR code, we're all super familiar with QR codes right now. So if you wanted to scan it, you literally just open up the camera app on your phone, hold it over, and a little pop-up will prompt you to go straight to that website. Okay. And this is the page that you'll go to, and you just fill in those fields. Okay. And that'll get you all registered for the pay index, and you can use it as much as you like for as long as you like in whatever circumstances you would like to do so. Okay. I'm aware that was a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of the pay index. I have only got you for half an hour. So if anyone wants to pop any questions in the chat, nothing there at the moment. So I will go straight through to the pay index actual website now. So I'll just stop, well, I'll attempt to stop screen sharing, and I will share the pay index instead. Or I'll give it a go. It's gone missing. Bear with me, sorry. Too many tabs open. So hopefully you'll be able to see it. So I'll just share my desktop instead and just load the pay index up. So hopefully you can see that now. So this is what it looks like when you log in. And just at the top here, you've got links out to the Shaping Futures and the Liverpool City Region Careers Hub website if you did want to find out a little bit more about either of us. There's also a Getting Started and Resources page. So I'll just wait for this to load. Those two videos that I mentioned in the presentation, they're up here. So if you want to go back at any point and check out, just have somebody else explain the website to you again, you've also got those up there. If you are unsure about any of the qualifications that you see on the pay index, there are some explanations too. And if you are using it with any of your parents and carers, there are a couple of videos just explaining the different options and some of the subjects that are covered for them. Just to let you know, these videos are going to be edited and changed out over the next couple of weeks to be focused on the Liverpool City region specifically. So you'll have access to those. Okay. The third link down just takes you through to that Uni Taster Days where you can schedule different visits and book onto different events if you would like to. Okay. And then we've got the two reports that we are providing for you guys through the pay index. I'll go through each of them pretty quickly, but again, if you do have any questions, just let me know and we're really happy to stop and go through any of it. Just get rid of that one. So every page is set up like this. So you've got the actual content and information here, and then you've got a little blurb at the bottom that just explains it to you. So if you hear about it in school or you see it today, you go back to it to a different point, you can just access this and it explains it all for you. The first page of the report asks you about where you're from, so you can see where students who are like you go on to university. And broadly, we're really lucky in the Northwest. We've got a lot of options for university and higher education. So a lot of our students generally stay in the region or they stay quite close. You can then break that down into the particular subject that you're interested in. And you've got a big drop down menu here of all different types of subjects. So let's click law, for example, and you're able to see where students go to study this subject countrywide. So a lot of students move down to London to study law. And you can also see a split between female and male in terms of progression to these courses. The reason we provide you with this information through the pay index, because there are some splits in gender and there are things that exist like the gender pay gap that we think it's important you have information in. And whenever there is a gender split option in any of these kind of reports, there will be a little video at the bottom of the page which just outlines what that means that the pay index have provided. Okay. This button here at the bottom, that will take you straight through to chat to the Shaping Futures team. So if you are looking at this information, you're not too sure, anything like that, you do have the option to get a little bit of support there. The second page of the report goes a little bit further on. So you select the region you think you'd like to attend university in. That might be the Northwest. You might fancy a change, head over to Newcastle or the Northeast. And then you can see where students who study in that particular region then go on to work after graduation. So again, people living in the Northeast, they're a little bit like us, they tend to stay. And ditto, if we swap back to the Northwest, we do see a lot of our graduates stay in the region because of the brilliant opportunities. And you do again have the option to split that down by the core subject that you're interested in. Obviously, there are some reasons behind, broadly behind these. If you click medicine or dentistry, they're concentrated a little bit in London and the Southeast. And the reason for that is that there's more people in London and the Southeast, so they need more doctors, more dentists, and that's why those jobs are available. On the third page of the report, you can start to see how your course choice and how your degree choice might kind of go on to affect you financially. So you, again, select the course that you're interested in and where you think you would want to work after you graduate. So I'll leave this as business management in the Northwest. And you're able to see the chance of getting a full-time job after that degree and what you would earn on average. This little chart below then shows you how you would likely progress, and this is an average, so everyone's different, but it shows you how you would generally progress through the different pay bands through the years after your graduation, all the way through to 10 years. Now you do have the option as well to choose more than one course. So if you were equally interested in biology and business, you can see the two different courses and how they progress over 10 years in terms of pay. So here you can see business, you're earning a little bit more initially, but by your sort of 10-year mark, it's kind of evened out. And you can compare this to the UK average salary. So we know that graduates earn a little bit more than non-graduates over the course of their lifetime. You can see that figure's around 30% here. But you can compare different ones. So if you love a few different subjects and you're not really sure which one to go for, but ultimately sort of income is a consideration for you, you can see what that looks like. Okay. And again, it does break it down by gender here. The gender pay gap is unfortunately something that does exist, although lots of companies are doing lots to tackle it. But again, there is a video under here that explains all that in a little bit more detail. And if you did have more questions about it, you could chat to our team if you would like. The fourth page of this report, again, so you select the kind of course that you might be most interested in. So let's have a look at engineering and where you might want to work. I'm going to keep it as Northwest because I grew up in the Northwest and stayed here after uni. And then you can choose to predict all the way up to 10 years after your degree. So I'm going to go with 3 just because it's a little bit further forward. Okay. You'll be able to see the average salary that you could expect in these circumstances and what that salary is per month. So divided roughly by 12 months, assuming 12 paydays. It will then break down of this £2,525, what you will pay in tax and national insurance. Now, these two figures, we can't do anything about. They are set by the government. Everybody who's earning over a certain amount pays tax and national insurance, and all of our graduates do. But this last box, I think, is what's most interesting, and it does show you what you would pay in terms of a student loan each month. Everyone gets really concerned about student loans. It's a big debt. It's a scary number. People have heard maybe negative things about debt, but student loans are quite different. And you can see what you'd actually kind of be paying every month. And you can have a look 1 year after uni, you're not really paying anything, all the way up to 3 years, but you are on a pretty decent salary for that. And then you can see what the take-home pay actually looks like. So what this salary actually means that you have after you've paid out everything you're required to. You do also usually pay into a pension, but that's very specific to the career that you're in and the employee you've got. So that's not included here. And then there's just a little breakdown. So if you're quite a visual person, a little bit like me, you can see really what all of this is your kind of take home pay, and your student loan is quite a small sliver of it compared to the earnings that you've been able to get through your degree. The last page might be more interesting if you are a little bit further on and thinking about what you're going to do after uni, or you're someone who's quite forward planning and thinking about a lot of options. You basically select so let's go with agricultural studies. You basically select where you would most like to work. I'm going to go with Bristol just for this one. And you can roughly see what the average first year salary would be. If you were thinking about other places that you might like to live, you can then scroll down a little bit. You don't need to scroll out as far as France, like I have there, but you can then choose other cities that you'd be interested in living in, and it will give you an adjusted salary. So basically, what you would have to earn in Aberdeen to have the same standard of living as you would in Bristol at just under £18,000 a year. So again, this might be one that's for a little bit further down the line if you're in year 12 or 13 and trying to plan ahead. So those are the 5 pages in the university report. I have gone through those really quickly. So again, do pop any questions in the chat and I can always come back to them, go back over pages as well. The second report that you've got is the apprenticeship option. So this one has 4 pages across and it's set up exactly the same. You've got your actual information here, and then you've got some little explanatory text if you do go back to this at any point or you do use it with parents. So the first page of the apprenticeship report, you're able to select the area of apprenticeship that you're interested in. Now this list is slightly different to the university one, and that's just because the government has universities and apprenticeship providers report slightly differently under slightly different categories. So we could go with engineering there. And you can see on this heat map the sort of amount of opportunities that are available apprenticeship-wise across the country. So for engineering and manufacturing, they do quite well in apprenticeships and there's opportunities pretty much countrywide. You're then able to break it down into the different specialisms that are available. Again, this is countrywide on this page. So you can see that there's a lot available in manufacturing technologies, a lot available in straight engineering, slightly less in kind of transport related things. And you can see the rough kind of pay that you would expect to get for each apprenticeship level. So obviously level 2 and 3, they're the kind of lowest levels where you've got the least experience. If you are going up to kind of level 4 and 5, you've got a little bit more experience, your pay would jump accordingly. The chat function at the bottom there doesn't take you to the Shape and Futures team. It takes you straight through to the Be More Apprenticeship Hub, which is the specific apprenticeship hub for the city region. The second page lets you drill it down a little bit further. So you're able to select your region, which for us is the Northwest, and see sort of where those apprenticeships are. Again, we're in Merseyside, we're quite lucky. There's quite a lot of opportunities here, as opposed to if you were maybe looking at it from Cumbria or kind of out here. My geography is not great, but I think that's near Blackpool. Okay. You're then able to choose your local authority. So there are 6 boroughs in Liverpool. Let's have a look at Knowsley. And the level of apprenticeship that you're interested in. So again, level 2 is roughly equivalent to GCSEs. Level 3 is roughly equivalent to A-levels or level 3 BTECs. And higher apprenticeships goes all the way up to degree apprenticeship. So you can pick the one that's right for you. And if you're not sure which level will be right for you, that is covered in a later page on this report. So we'll get to it. And you're able to see the amount of apprenticeships that have been available in that area and exactly which areas they're in. So there's not in Knowsley a lot of kind of level 3 apprenticeships around education, but there's a lot more opportunity in the business administration law and kind of health and public services offer. Okay. So moving on to the third page, if you're not sure which level of apprenticeship you should have gone for, this is basically the page that will help you out. You're able to select the level of qualification that you're at the moment. So if you are expecting your GCSEs this summer, you could go for 5 GCSE passes. And it will give you the information on the level that you should think about, roughly how long it might take to complete, what kind of qualifications you're going to get, and a little bit more detail on what you might actually need. Now, this is an overview. It is a total ballpark. And every apprenticeship is very different because it's designed by the employer and the training provider to meet very specific needs. So again, this is an overview. Please do look into the apprenticeship you're interested in very specifically yourself to make sure it's right for you. But you can also see at level 3, where are those apprenticeships? And this one is countrywide. So again, lots going on in engineering and manufacturing, not lots in health and social care, not as many in kind of business or management, for example. And then you get a little blurb that tells you the qualifications that you'll generally get at the end of the apprenticeship. Going on to the last page of the apprenticeship report, this is the one that's most sort of interesting if you are not sure, if you're thinking something about university really appeals to me, something about an apprenticeship does, maybe I should just work and then do one later. If you're torn between a couple of options, this page will be really helpful for you because you're able to compare your different options to see what the financial impact of them are. So you're able to select the age you would be. I'm going to go with 21 to 22 because that's when you would graduate university if you went straight from school. And you're able to see if you went straight into work and were receiving kind of minimum wage, what you would earn hourly, monthly, and annually. Okay. You're then able to compare that to an apprenticeship. So let's go for engineering. Let's go for that one. So if you went into an apprenticeship in an engineering firm, this is what you would earn hourly, monthly, and annually. The hourly rate is a little bit lower. Some of the apprenticeship wages are just because your training is being paid for, but you can see all that information on the Be More Apprenticeship site. Okay, and then you can select the same subject at university. So let's go with engineering and sort of see what you would expect to get paid in the year after you graduated university. So hourly, monthly, annually. So you can kind of compare the difference there. And you can also use the report in the university section that showed you sort of student loan repayments to help kind of work out in your head what's the best option for you if it's worth it. It's displayed here as a nice little chart so you can see it really easily, and you can also see the differences between the options. Now, this is just finance. It doesn't take into account lots of different things. So for example, on the engineering one, that is a level 2-3 option. If you carried it on to a higher or degree apprenticeship, that would likely go up again. But it just gives you a little bit of an overview of the options that you've got. Okay, and that is the last sort of page of the apprenticeship report. So I'll pop back to the home page. Did anyone have any questions? I will just check the chat. No questions yet. Did anyone have anything that they wanted to ask or any other pages that they would like me to go over on this? Nope, nothing yet.
Sarah, just because I know we have a mix of students and some teachers are watching from classrooms as well. If we just to remind people watching, if you know, as we're launching this, Shaping Futures and the Careers Hub are coming out to schools, aren't we? And we'll support in delivering this. So if schools have any questions later or have any inquiries about people coming in and actually presenting, they can get in touch with either Careers Hub or Shaping Futures, and we can look into supporting that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really keen for you guys to use this. It hopefully will be really helpful. We've started to use it with students and they've found it helpful. So anything you need to enable you to roll this out, just give us a shout and we're more than happy to help as well.
Use as well, Heather.
Sorry, can I just say as well, it's an amazing resource for young people to use at home, and watching the session from start to finish, it can be quite a lot to take in at once, but once logged in, the students themselves can just take the time and just go through each section in their own time, researching their area, their subject choice, you know, universities, just, it's not as much to take in when the students sat at home, just doing the research on their own. So, you know, just give it some time, dedicate a little bit of your time to looking into this resource, because it really will make a difference with your future choices. It is an amazing opportunity to have this at this information at your fingertips. So thank you, Sarah, for introducing the app to the students.
Yeah, I'd second that. Our staff, I think, sort of felt, oh, this is an awful lot of information when they had their presentation and their training on it, but they've all gone away, had a look at it, and they found it really helpful. A couple of our university students have had a look at it as well, and they have kind of said, oh, I would have loved to have this in year 11, or I would have loved to have this when I was doing my application or deciding what I wanted to do. So yeah,
Yeah.
please do make the most of it.